Nobody knows how the hell Jay Kennedy got into our program. I think he was in the parking lot and offered to help me bring up some equipment, and all of a sudden he's here early. Actually, Jay deserves great credit for bringing this event to you. It was his vision of partnering with Noir At A Bar with the library. So that said, Jay Kennedy is a reader, not a writer, although he did have an 8th grade essay published in 2 Wisconsin newspapers 48 years ago. This is his first story written since then. He lives in Oxford with his wife and 6 cats. Okay?
So Gary's really not kidding here, because my wife looked at the program tonight and she elbowed me and she said, "Hey," she said, "all these people are authors." I said, "What are you doing here?" So I would like to say that this is fictional, not factual. So if any of you think you recognize anybody in this story, you would be wrong. Maybe. I asked myself, not for the first time that night, what in the hell am I doing here? But in reality, I knew full well. The here in that question has a couple of implications. The here and now here is the edge of an Amish farmer's field near Oxford, PA, on a cold, snowy night in March. It's a good question. The snow is coming down in nor'easter proportions. Big, fat flakes coming down like Stukas over Route 10. But in this case, they'd have to be Pennsylvania Dutch dive bombers, not German jumpers. I'm dressed warmly enough. That's not the point. And that leads to the other implication, the philosophical one. This one is a little clearer to me. No question in my mind that this is exactly what I want to be doing. But first, a little about me. My name is Robert Scott, universally known as Bobby, which is a little weird for a guy my age, but Bobby it is, and Bobby it always has been. A lifetime ago, I lived a passive corporate life, but then abruptly dumped my briefcase and my frequent flyer miles and took an early retirement. But watching Kelly and Ryan in my pajamas didn't really cut it for me. So I decided to follow in the footsteps of my childhood hero, Clark Kent, and dip my toes into the investigative reporter racket. Also weird, right? I mean, who just decides to become an investigative reporter without any prior inclination towards journalism? Strike one. While we're at it, why in the world does Oxford need one anyway? It's not like anything ever happens here. There's never even a line at the post office during Christmas season. And that pretty much says it all. Let's be clear, I'm a freelancer, which means I don't get paid unless I can uncover and intelligently write stories. Strike two. But surprisingly enough, I'm okay at it. The story about the big bust of a major Chester County drug dealer who happened to be an Oxfordian, yep, that was me. The arsonist responsible for burning down both the Octoraro Hotel and the Sunoco station, my byline again. And my current story about the self-proclaimed Amish Avenger. It's my biggest one yet. None of these breaking news exclusives have put me in a favorable light with local Oxford Chief of Police, Linda Teal. That hard-driving, no-nonsense flatfoot doesn't like that her small-town police force seems to keep getting upstaged by little old me, and can't understand how I keep getting the first and inside scoop on what's happening in the underbelly of her town. But I will do anything to get the story. I'm pretty good at being careful and very close-lipped about my sources of information. So I've been able to break some big headlines before the local coppers had much of an inkling. Judging by how many times they've hauled me in and tried to sweat me for information, I'm guessing that Teal is running out of patience. Tough. I don't want to give you the idea that Oxford is Camden or anything, It's just a small, sleepy little town that's trying to get it right. Its biggest knock is that it feels like it's about 45 minutes from civilization. I mean, the closest shopping mall and movie theater is in another state, for crying out loud. And I defy you to drive through town anytime, day or night, and not encounter an annoyingly slow Amish horse and buggy that somehow is always in front, never behind of you. I saw one pull into the drive-through bank line once. You don't see that every day anywhere else. I laughed right out loud that day. That leads me back to the Amish Avenger story I mentioned. Pennsylvania was once described as two cities that hate each other, divided by the Amish. That's clever. I wish I thought of that. The Amish here in PA are different from their brethren in Ohio and Indiana, both of which are bigger than the PA Amish in terms of the number of straw hats running around. One, the PA Amish are much richer. The communities in Ohio and Indiana are poverty level. And secluded as they are, they're all right with that. But the PA Amish are much more entrepreneurial. It seems like there's an Amish farmer's market or an Amish furniture shop on every corner. Think about it. The Amish are supposed to be this peaceful, live amongst themselves, don't bother us, old world enclave, the plain folk. That's great, as long as all that fancy folk non-Amish money keeps flowing into those secluded communities, buying quilts and shoe-fly pies and farm-fresh vegetables and the myriad of other Amish products that are hawked everywhere you look. Two, the PA Amish are much more hypocritical. On the surface, it's all that old world charm. No modern conveniences, no automation. But I know folks whose only cash-paying job is as an Amish Uber, to drive Amish around in their cars to take them from place to place. So they can't own an automobile, but they're willing to pay to ride in one. Anybody see the irony in that? This so-called Amish Avenger storyline I've been writing has really been heating up. Yesterday, the vigilante called police dispatch, reporting a large puppy mill near Oxford. Teal and her squad swept in and rescued hundreds of dogs who were caged and unmercifully neglected. Puppy mills are a steady stream of income for their operators, both Amish and non-Amish. As long as people continue to buy animals from such dog factories, they continue to pad the owner's pockets with plenty of cold hard cash. I wrote a scathing story about this vile situation, throwing lots of credit Teal's way for emptying the puppy mill out. So now here I sit, freezing my ass off in this field overlooking this empty shell of a building. The Amish Avenger dealt quite a blow to the operation. But all that means is that the owner will get a slap on the wrist, pay some small fine, and will soon be back in business. Not if I can help it, I think, and my bones creak and crack as I stand from where I've been hunkered down. The gasoline from the can I'm carrying sloshes over my heavy boots as I make my way through the field toward the building. No electricity here, so no lights showing. But the bright Pennsylvania moon and the cloudless Chester County sky provides plenty of illumination for me as I splash my accelerant around the wooden barn. Tomorrow's story detailing the terrible fire that destroyed the insinuous and just vacated puppy mill has already been written. The Amish Avenger strikes again. My match flares and I toss it toward the barn. The whoosh of the flame warms both my body and my soul. As I walk back across the field, I mutter, "Adopt, don't shop." Damn straight.